This video walked through the first mission target of the SPRAwl range at slayerlabs.com. This box briefly covers AS rep roasting along with the basics of StarKiller to include setting up a listener, stager, and establishing an agent. So first we start off checking out the mission card. We notice a few key points. Chatsubo is the target. Rats is a user of interest who is part of the domain along with being a local built-in administrator. And the fact that he reuses passwords. Once we get on target, we'll also be on the lookout for a decryption key for a virus program. Here we see Chatsubo on the targets page is rated easy. The lighter the hue, the easier the box. And we also see it's on the nightcity.sprawl domain. Mostly mission 1 is easy, it's just this Chatsubo 1 box. Here we have results of a verbose nmap scan. We see HTTP open, some RPC ports, 3389 RDP open, SMB version 2 looks like it's running. First we'll just hit HTTP. Seeing if there's anything of interest, which looks like there isn't, besides the design. And since this mission card mentioned rats as a domain user, there are a bunch of methods to explore and enumerate domain users, but in this case we'll look for, see if rats is AS rep roastable. And if you're unfamiliar with AS rep roasting, there are plenty of in-depth blogs online covering the topic. But real quick, if a domain user has Kerberos pre-authentication disabled, which by default, when you set up a user in Active Directory, it is enabled. So if it's purposely disabled, or by accident, I guess, anyone can essentially receive the AS rep message of that particular user, which contains a key derived from their password. This can be cracked offline. In our case, we'll use Hatchcat. But first, we'll need to find the IP of the domain controller in Night City. So we'll just scan a range of IPs for port 53 DNS, since DCs also run the DNS service. Looks like we have 2 hits, and in our case we're going to use .15. So InPacket has a bunch of scripts, and one of being the get MP users, the get non-preauth users. And we'll use this script to point to a particular user, nightcity/rats, putting in the DC IP, and we'll run the script. And yeah, as you can see, this brings back the result. Basically just copy this, and then you can just run it through Hashcat fairly easy. And actually I have Hashcat on a different box, so I won't be running it, and I already have the passwords. But if you want, use an example of Windows. It's mode 18200. So now that we have a cracked password of rats, which he reuses passwords, so we can try to RDP in. You can see the administrator, and you can try the fully qualified domain user, but you'll see that doesn't work. It's not a bug. It's on purpose. And since he reuses passwords, we'll try the built-in administrator, which is not disabled. It's administrator on Windows machines. And we successfully log in. Now that we're not so OPSEC safely RDP'd in to Chatsubo, we can click around, look for anything of interest. Specifically, be on the lookout for that decryption key or password to that virus program, as per the mission card. Here we see an interesting file, and like many targets on the SPRAwl and ranges at Sawyer Labs, usually be like a note or something of interest in like root or typically an elevated user's home directory that will contain some hints, links, host names, passwords, users, maybe some cryptic message. I would just copy and paste that into our notes for later use. So now we'll utilize StarKiller and Empire to drop an agent on the target and launch it, hopefully. Get an established connection. First, we'll create a listener. I'm going to set it to just use HTTP, and it's already pre-configured with my IP and just a random port of 4445. You can see some other configurations. I'll just change the name here. So now that that's generated, we'll move on to creating a stager. This will just be a batch script. And we have to make sure to select the listener that we just created. Cool. Now we'll download this and drop it, or I guess we'll load it up onto our Apache web server in our web root, and then we'll jump back on our RDP session, our very OPSEC secure RDP session. And to, I guess, showcase a method besides just going to use like the web browser, we can use bitsadmin. This is just a regular command. You don't need PowerShell. Should built-in binary on pretty much all Windows OSs. So yeah, syntax, we're going to download the source, and then we have to make sure to put the destination, including a file name. Put it in program data called l.bat. So now we see it downloaded successfully, and we will just run it. And after giving it a little bit of time, that agent should be established. So now we see the agent is established, and here's kind of the GUI. We can interact with it. Yeah, one is just using the file browser and you can just kind of directory walk visually through the GUI and see what the target has. Is there anything of interest? You can see our launcher there. Target's running sysmon. And the interact tab also has all the Empire modules, which we can't really do anything like power view or any domain enumeration since we are not joined on this box. Yeah, and that's about it. So we'll follow the campaign/mission tac 2. Now that we obtained the key, we'll go ahead and paste that in and move on to the next mission.